Hello, welcome to another Tweedy Outdoors video, and one which will almost certainly end up languishing in the rejects bin. Believe it or not, there is actually a quality bar on this stupid channel. So this is another one of those self-heating meals. I did a video where I was that somewhere in Kent? I forget now. Did a self-heating hot pot. It met with a very mixed reaction, which is perhaps a very positive spin on it. I think most people said they found the whole thing looked deeply unappealing and slightly disturbing. So I've gone for a repeat of that. This one is not exactly a hot pot. It is a Malaysian style, I believe. It's made in Malaysia. Curry with rice. So presumably inside this box there is some sort of pouch of rice, some sort of pouch of curry, and then one of those crystal packet things, a bit like you get in a military ration pack, and you add water to that and it somehow heats the whole thing up. Out a bit of packaging there. It's an unboxing video and a lid. So there's some more instructions here. There are also some instructions on the back of the outer packaging. What does it say? Open the package and take out all the items. That to me looks like rice. It's actually surprisingly dry. I thought this might be sort of one of those microwave style pouch rice things. It's already part cooked, but now that looks pretty dry. Oh, there's a little spoon, look. That's nice. I brought a spork along, but they seem to provide cutlery. And then a dainty little pouch of curry. Got a feeling this isn't going to be hugely filling, but there we go. And that must be the magic, slightly scary chemical thing that actually does the heating. The little compartments here have the Chinese characters for, I think one of those says rice and the other one says curry. I just about remember enough from my Japanese that I think that symbol there is possibly rice. And that does seem to more or less match the symbol on the rice packet there. The rice is going to go in there. And this little pouch of curry, that is going to go in the other compartment. Might not look hugely appetizing as it is. I'm guessing that is the equivalent of tin food and is basically pre-cooked. But the rice is going to need a bit of actual hydration. Although it doesn't say the exact amount of water in milliliters, guessing that is a fill line there. And you just keep pouring it in until it would help if this is a flat surface. And until it's about at that line. Stir the rice until it is even. Well, not going to be very even. This isn't a flat surface, but so I think the next thing is to take the heating stuff out of its outer packaging. Put that in there, and I think that just needs to be roughly covered with water and it will start getting hot. Looks like another sort of a fill line thing there. Can you hear some scary sizzling already? Put that back in there relatively quickly. I'm guessing the lid wants to go back on as well. It'll trap some of that heat. Oh no, it's upside down. And it says wait for 10 to 15 minutes to start to enjoy your delicious dishes. I haven't done a very good job of a drinks pairing for this bizarre self-heating meal. My racks in my cellar are looking disturbingly bare, and the local shops weren't looking very promising either. So in a slightly unusual move, I've gone for a very ordinary bottle of sort of supermarket cider. This is Henry Weston's. I mean, I think they're okay. I don't generally like bottled cider very much, to be honest, because it's almost always sparkling. I think they always put a little bit of CO2 in the top to get rid of that ullage, to get rid of that bit of air. I guess it helps preserve the cider or something. Not sure what the rationale is, but very rare to find bottled cider which isn't at least a bit sparkling. It's surprisingly punchy, this stuff. 8.2% ABV. I brought along a wine glass, kind of hoping I might be able to find a shop nearby that would sell some acceptable wine. Failed on that front, but given that I've got it, why don't I drink some cider out of a wine glass? Pretend. You see, it's sparkling. They're always sparkling when they're in a bottle. It almost looks like it could be sparkling wine, doesn't it? Cheers. Sparkling though that is, it's actually quite nice. It's pretty gentle tasting because something that is as punchy as 8.4% ABV. Stylistically, this certainly isn't a scrumpy. It's got a hint of sweetness to it. Certainly not extremely dry. This is medium to perhaps even medium. Yeah, I would say it's a medium. And a nice, full, appley body. Of course it's appley, it's cider. What are you talking about, Tweedy? I don't know if that looks a bit better on the table there. I should add, the table is relatively heat-proof. I believe it's sort of good up to about 100 degrees, so this isn't too hot at the edges. That's not just gonna, I believe that won't just melt straight through. And of course this container here is some sort of plastic. Definitely something happening in there. It's the rice that I'm a bit concerned about. Is that really going to cook? I put on a timer for 10 minutes after messing around with other stuff for a couple of minutes. So I would say it's on about 12-ish now. I'm gonna have to be careful how I take this lid off because it is obviously going to be a bit hot. Perhaps I can use the corner of my spork to lever that off. A little glimpse inside. Something's happening. I'm going to give it another. I mean, what's the worst that can happen if I give it slightly too long? Perhaps I'll give it another 5 minutes. Right, I think I'm ready to try a little bit of this rice, see if it's cooked. If the rice is cooked, everything else is fine, I'm sure. It's probably had a full 15 minutes and a bit now. Definitely still some steam coming off there. Well, it feels soft as I'm digging the spork in. That is definitely cooked. It's an interesting texture to that rice. I don't know if it's perhaps been processed somehow. Really quite soft. I would say possibly overdone, but that's better than underdone, I suppose. The taste is nice though. It's almost like tiny little flat bits of pasta. Nice, that is a good start. Should we try a bit of the curry? I mean, I think it would be fair to say the curry is certainly not a hugely generous portion. If I were out for a night camping, I would need to bring some sort of supplemental food. This is just about okay for a light lunch. But as a sort of main meal of the day, there's a reasonable amount of rice there, but that sort of size of the curry is a little bit on the mean side. I'm not exactly sure what that vegetable is. I think that's some sort of root vegetable there. Is it potato? It's quite nice. The sauce it's spicy but not crazily overpowering. I'm not familiar enough with Malaysian cuisine to be able to tell you which particular kind of Malaysian curry this is. And I think what I have there is a bit of fake meat of some sort of wheat gluten based fake meat. That has more flavour actually. That seems to absorb the curry sauce a bit better than whatever that root vegetable is. Now I'm getting a bigger sort of kick from the spice. That's actually good. I doubt any of you will be convinced. It's a bit of a measly portion, as I say. As a main meal of the day, this is going to need a couple of extra bits around the edges to supplement it. But rice is nicely cooked. The whole thing is hot, but not dangerously hot. A lovely sort of Southeast Asian curry sort of flavour. Had similar things from Indonesian cuisine. Tiny bit like Thai food, but not quite the same. An unusual kind of rice, but I could get used to this. Very soft. Very fluffy, but it's cooked and it's hot. Trying to zoom in as best as I can on the tiny lettering for the ingredients there. I can't see anything listed that sounds like a root vegetable. I may possibly have solved the mystery. There is a slightly worrying, slightly different set of ingredients on the side. They're not in order of quantity. Normally ingredients lists have the thing that there is most of in the dish, the product, first. But very near the end there it says potato. So it was potato after all. It also says it's a Nanyang curry rice. I don't know I assume that's a style of curry, Nanyang curry. I'll have to look that up. This really is genuinely quite nice. Let's mix a bit of that curry and a bit of that rice. Just about cool enough to pick up now. One of the nice things about this bizarre way of cooking is that the residual heat from that heat generator keeps the dish warm while you're still eating it. Honestly, pretty happy with that. I think it costs something like £7 from the Chinese supermarket I went to yesterday in Chinatown. Is it Lunfeng? In the sort of main bit of Chinatown in London. A little bit expensive for what it is, for the amount of food, but for the sort of novelty factor and the convenience, I think an incredibly compact form factor for that box contains not just your lunch but the means of heating it. You don't need to bring a stove all done. Enjoyed that. There is still a bit of steam coming off that heat generator there. It must be half an hour or more since I put the water on that, but it is still generating a little bit of warmth. As a one-off, I think that's kind of fun. Was actually a fairly pleasant curry as well. Could have done with a little bit more quantity-wise, but perhaps that would have been impractical in this sort of form factor of box to heat that quantity of curry had it been any more than that. It's a Tweedy Outdoors classic, isn't it? Not normally with cider. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. I've been having a very pleasant time just sitting here enjoying being in the woods, but I suppose I've got to get back to normal life. So I personally would give that self-heating rice and curry thing from Malaysia a thumbs up. I personally enjoyed it. I doubt any of you will agree. And this video will end up in that rejects bin. I have a whole playlist of those videos that I thought initially, well, this might be a good idea, and then I decided no one seems to like it. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. See you on the next one. Bye bye.